General public license, terms and conditions for copying, distribution and modification. Part 1. The license for most software are designed to take away your freedom to share and change it by contrast. The GNU General Public License is intended to guarantee your freedom to share and change free software, to make sure the software's free for all its users. This General Public License applies to most of the free software, Foundation software, and to any other program whose authors commit to using it.
Some other free software, Foundation software is covered by the GNU. That's the General Public License.
You can apply it to your programs too. You would speak of free software, we are referring to freedom, not price. Our General Public Licenses are designed to make sure that you have the freedom to distribute copies of free software and charge for the service if you wish. That you receive source code or can get it if you want it. That you can change the software or use pieces of it into free programs, and that you know you can do these things.
To protect your rights, we need to make restrictions that forbid anyone to deny you these rights or to ask you to surrender the rights.
These restrictions translate to certain responsibilities for you if you distribute copies of the software or if you modify it. For example, if you distribute copies of such a program, whether gratis or for a fee, you must give the recipients all the rights that you have. You must make sure that they too receive or can get the source code, and you must show them these terms so they know their rights.
You would speak of free software if the software is modified by someone else and passed on. We want its recipients to know that what they have is not the original, so that any problems introduced by others will not reflect on the original author's reputation.
Any free program is threatened constantly by software patents. We wish to avoid the danger that redistributors of a free program will individually obtain patent licenses, in effect making the program proprietary. To prevent this, we have made it clear that any patent must be licensed for everyone's free use or not licensed at all. So much twice is it? Time to obtain this seal yourself. Section O. This license applies to any program or other work which contains a notice placed by the copyright holder saying it may be distributed under the terms of this General Public License. The program below refers to any such program or work, and a work based on the program means either the program or any derivative work under copyright law. That is to say, a work containing the program or a portion of it, either verbatim or with modifications and or translated into another language. Each licensee is addressed as you. Activities other than copying, distribution, and modification are not covered by this license. They are outside its scope. The act of running the program is not restricted, and the output from the program is covered only if its contents constitute a work based on the program independent of having been made by running the program. Whether that is true depends on what the program does. Section O. You may copy and distribute verbatim copies of the program source code as you receive it in any medium, provided that you conspicuously continuously and appropriately publish on each copy an appropriate copyright notice and disclaimer of warranty. Keep intact all the notices that refer to this license and to the absence of any warranty. And give any other recipients of the program a copy of this license along with the program. You may charge a fee for the physical act of transferring a copy, and you may at your option offer warranty protection in exchange for a fee.
Never again shall you ingest. You may modify your copy or copies of the program or any portion of it, thus forming a work based on the program. You can copy, distribute such modifications or work under the terms of Section 1 above, provided that you also meet all of these conditions. You must cause the modified files to carry prominent notices stating that you changed the files and the date of any change. You must cause any work that you distribute or publish that in whole or in part contains or is derived from the program or any part thereof to be licensed as a whole at no charge to all third parties under the terms of this license. If the modified program normally reads comments interactively when run, you must cause it, when started running for such interactive use in the most ordinary way, to print or display an announcement including an appropriate copyright notice and a notice that there is no warranty, saying that you provide the warranty of program under these conditions, and telling the user how to view a copy of this license. Exception if the program itself is interactive but does not normally print such an announcement. Your work based on the program is not required to print an announcement.
These requirements apply to the modified work as a whole if identifiable sections of that work are not derived from the program and can be reasonably considered independent and separate works in themselves. Then this license and its terms do not apply to those sections when you distribute them as separate works, but when you distribute the same sections as part of a whole which is a work based on the program, the distribution of the whole must be on the terms of this license, whose permissions for other licensees extend to the entire whole, and thus to each and every part regardless of who wrote it.
Thus, it is not the intent of this section to claim rights or contest your rights to work written entirely by you. Rather, the intent is to exercise the right to control the distribution of derivative or collective works based on the program. In addition, mere aggregation of another work not based on the program with the program. The program of a whole of a storage or attribution medium does not bring the other work under the scope of this license.
New general public license. Section 3. You may copy and distribute the program or a work based on it under Section 2 in object code or executable form under the terms of Sections 1 and 2 above, provided that you also do one of the following. or a complete machine-readable copy of the corresponding source code to be distributed under the terms of sections 1 and 2 above on a medium customarily used for software interchange, or a company is with the information you received as to the offer to distribute corresponding source code.
This alternative is allowed only for non-commercial distribution and only if you receive the program in object code or executable form with such an offer, in accord with subsection B above.
The preferred form of the work for making modifications to it. For an executable work, complete source code means all the source code for all modules it contains, plus any associated interface definition files, plus the scripts used to control compilation and installation of the executable. As a special exception, the source code distributed need not include anything that is normally distributed. With the major components compete of the operating system on which the executable runs, unless that component itself accompanies the executable. Distribution executable object code is made by offering access to copy from a designated place, then offering equivalent access to copy the source code in the same place counts as distribution of the source code, even though third parties are not compelled to copy the source along with the object code.
Like control 2 for an executable work, or MPCE. Like complete source code means all the source code for all modules it contains, plus any associated interface definition files, plus the scripts used to control compilation and installation of the executable. However, as a special exception, the source code distributed need not include anything that is normally distributed, either source or binary, with the major components composing ourselves as executable.
General Public License Part 4!
Section 7F. As a consequence of a court judgment or allegation of patent infringement or for any other reason, not limited to patent issues, conditions are imposed on you. Whether by court order, agreement or otherwise, that contradict the conditions of this license, they do not excuse you from the conditions of this license if you cannot distribute so as to satisfy simultaneously your obligations under this license and any other pertinent obligations, then as a consequence you may not distribute the program at all. For example, if a patent license would not permit royalty-free redistribution of the program by all those who receive copies directly or indirectly through you, then the only way you could satisfy both it and this license would be to refrain entirely from distribution of the program. Portion of this section is held invalid or unenforceable under any particular circumstance, the balance of the section is intended to apply and the section as a whole is intended to apply in other circumstances. It is not the purpose of this section to induce you to infringe any patents or other property right claims or to contest validity of any such claims. This section has the sole purpose of protecting the integrity of the free software distribution system, which is implemented by public license practices. Many people have made generous contributions to the wide range of software distributed through that system in reliance on consistent application of that system. It is up to the author donor to decide if he or she is willing to distribute software through any other system under license. He cannot impose that choice. Assessing is intended to make thoroughly clear what is believed to be a consequence of the rest of this license.
Min General Public License Part 6.
The prohibition use of the program is restricted in certain countries either by patents or by copyrighted interfaces. The original copyright holder who places the program under this license may add an explicit geographical distribution limitation excluding those countries, so that distribution is permitted only in or among countries not thus excluded. In such case, this license incorporates the limitation as if written in the body of this license. Through Section 9, the Free Software Foundation may publish revised and/or new versions of the general public license from time to time. Such new versions will be similar in spirit to the present version, but may differ in detail to address new problems or concerns. Each version is given a distinguishing version number if the program specifies a version number of this license which applies to it and any later version. You have the option of following the terms and conditions either of that version or of any later version published by the Free Software Foundation. If the program does not specify a version number of this license, you may choose any version ever published by the Free Software Foundation.
Section 10. If you wish to incorporate parts of the program into other free programs whose distribution conditions are different, write to the author to ask for permission. For software which is copyrighted by the Free Software Foundation, write to the Free Software Foundation. We sometimes make exceptions for this. Our decision will be guided by the two goals of preserving the free status of all derivatives of our free software and promoting the sharing and wheels of software generally. Förutsättningen är only once the hunting for and the program training in them. Vi kan nog faktiskt gå in i varje
Part 7, sure or sure sign. Section 11, because the program is licensed free of charge. There is no warranty for the program to the extent permitted. Be applicable except when otherwise stated in writing. Section 2, treat your process slate. The program assists with a vanity of any kind, either expressed or implied, inclined, limited to the implied warranties of merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose. The entire risk as to the quality and performance of the program is with you should the program prove defective. You assume the cost of all necessary servicing. Section 12 in no other analysis require be applicable or agreed to in writing will any copyright holder or any other party who may modify and or redistribute the program as permitted above be liable to you for damages including any general special, incidental or quantity and needle damage sourcing out of the use or inability to use the program including but not limited to loss of data, data render it inaccurate, a loss of suction by you or third parties, or a failure of the program to operate with the other programs, even if such holder or other party has been advised of the possibility of such damage. other terms and conditions, and other terms and conditions. So big it to you, so big it to you, so big it be us, so big it be us, to be the shoulder light elation. So they got to the electrotion. They seen the world that begun to host all of the woods that begun close. Took out the dose of the shoulder grease. Job our babies as socials may cheat. You'll say on your Igabang, you'll say on your Igabang. Luke, so she's looking for unread ladies in Ega. But you the cow, and only mind upon a silent road.
from his mind. Another force he didn't think he'd find. The darkness spoke and shattered his debris. Now you know the hidden voice says, I am me.
The solipsist is trapped inside the trap. The grand illusion vanished from the map. Another mind controls the empty space and leaves him frozen with no saving grace.
is Napoleon wants the throne. He claims the power for his own. Giant dogs begin to bark. They chase the dreamer to the dark. The pigs rewrite what used to be and steal the birthright of the free. Boxer works until he breaks. For every promise that they make, they sell his bones to buy their wine, while working bees still starve and pine. Laws upon the wall decrease until the ancient scripture sees the final rule stands all alone. The pigs now walk upon the bone. Armaments bleed, the truth is dead. A whip is swinging overhead. The past is washed right off the wall. The highest towers crash and fall. Equal rights are just a lie. Obey the state or quickly die.